Alright everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. So a couple of channel related things before we dive into these videos proper. So you may or may not have noticed the streaming layout has changed just slightly a little bit. I've adjusted the angles and some things because now I've had time to finally clean up my office, reorganize a little bit, so it feels a lot better in that regard. But yeah, so I tried to mess around with the streaming angle and stuff again, so we'll see how well this works out. But if there are any changes that need to be made, stuff like that, do let me know. Apart from that, again, another general PSA. This doesn't apply to anyone that watches most of my content, especially the Spy Family stuff. But like I mentioned last time, if you leave a comment that is condescending or insulting to me, that is the fastest way to piss me off and quite possibly lead me to publicly shame you for it. Because again, I've been very open on this channel, especially about my struggles with like mental health stuff, how that affects me, things like that, the challenges I face with regards to that. So if you leave a comment, I've talked about this last time, some commenter posted about how he noticed my posters weren't hanging up on the wall and commenting on how, it seemed like a sign of laziness, etc., etc. I don't want to get into all that again. But they left a follow-up condescending comment on another one of my videos after I had re-hung up my posters. And it just really did set me off, and I'm not like, if I block that person, I'm not going to get any foreign notifications and things from them. But yeah, don't be that person. Don't do that. It's just going to piss me off, and next time I will just start publicly shaming anyone that does do it, because honestly at this point I'm tired of being nice about it. So yeah, I'm just going to start being a little bit nastier about that. But like I said, just general PSA, it doesn't apply to anyone on Spy Family videos or any of the other ones. You all have been just very supportive and kind in general, so I really appreciate that. But I just want to kind of put that out there. Apart from that, as usual, we'll get around to the typical Shonen Jump videos this weekend. The next week I will get back to read-throughs. So the current plan is I'll probably do Yona of the Dawn and then probably Volume of Berserk. But apart from that, I do also want to get back to Bride's Story. And now that Vinland Saga is officially finished, I think the last chapter just was published last week. I do want to get back around to those read-throughs as well, because I have not been current with the Vinland Saga for a while now. But it is a series I really do enjoy, so I do want to get around to that again and see what the finale was like. But yeah, a lot of stuff coming your way. So if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But without further ado, let us dive into it with what appears to be a short Spy Family chapter. So I guess I don't need a break before starting the next arc. So we have a Spy Family short mission 17. It's translation by Casey Lowe, lettering by Rina Mappa. Looks like we're getting a short Bond-related chapter. As we have, and now for today's blood type horoscopes. Jeff, hey Bond, let's go for a walk. It's like the outlook is brightest for you type A's. Prepare for a fateful encounter. And Jeff glitter as Bond looks at his little, his food bowl or his water bowl, and he sees the Bond on it. He's like, Bond equals B? But things look dire for you type B. He's like, womp womp. Take care when you're outside and don't wear black or your life could be in danger. And you see Lloyd in the background standing with Bond's leashes. Poor Bond just like, is like straining his head trying to trigger a premonition to confirm this. And you have, what's the matter? Don't you want to go? And he's like, come on, let's go. As Bond just kind of gasps as he sees he has like a black bow tie on. So he's just like, he's just like trying to paw it off his neck. He's like, now what? You don't like your collar? And he just goes like points to like his little collar bin. He's like, what? You'd rather wear the collar that you're bought by mistake? God, I fucking love Bond. I really do. You see him wearing just like the spiked collar your bottom. And as he's walking through the park, he looks at his little paws and he notices that they're black. And he's just like, Worf, 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 Worf. And he sees this artist painting nearby and he just goes and runs up and starts pointing at his paws. He's like, wow, what on earth? And Lloyd's like, whoa, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And he's like, you behave so erratically sometimes. What's up with you? And you see Bond just like looking around, like imagining like the worst case scenarios of like him getting hit by a car or a group of dogs like ganging up on him. And he thinks back to, and Lloyd thinks back to, is this because he was a Project Apple test subject? And he thinks back to Sylvia saying, it happens to mine sometimes too. They may be too smart for their own good. I usually just let him pig out on something tasty. That tends to calm him down. And you see Bond just like straining as he's trying to see the future. It's like, hurf, hurf. He has a twitch as he imagines Lloyd just giving him like a heaping bowl of food with a special gourmet dinner tonight just for you. It's like, how wonderful for you, Bond. And Anya's like, how come I don't get any? He's like, Worf, Worf, as he just kind of like nuzzles against Lloyd. He's like, Bond, stop rubbing against me. Those spikes hurt. And you have later as he's just sleeping peacefully with a burp. It's like, it was a good day. All right. So not really much to say. Like I said, it was just a short like mission break chapter. I guess it's because next week is Oban Festival. So I guess that might be why we have the short chapter, even though Spy Family is bi-weekly. But yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, next week is Oban Festival. So it's the whole of Shonen Jump is going to be on break. So it doesn't really apply for like the typical bi-weekly stuff. But that might be why we got a short mission. With all that said, enjoyable chapter. I do like Bond as a comedy duo. But looking forward to the next arc starting. With all that said, like I mentioned at the beginning, hopefully read-throughs will be back next weekend, so look forward to that. It's also kind of good time because Shonen Jump is going to be on break next week, so I won't have any of those videos to cover, so I'll try to get caught up on my read-throughs then. So like I mentioned, a lot of good content is going to be coming your way, so if you haven't already, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Like I mentioned at the beginning, general PSA, just, try to avoid hateful comments, things that might annoy me or be condescending. But like I said, in general, I don't think that's going to be an issue with you all. So until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.